for joining me on this Thursday afternoon for a little 5-10-10. 2K to start, match a stack after the fact. We're going to get started with a bang here. Hand number one, Wolfgang picks up 2 queens.
Right, welcome back to another video, you guys. We are back at the lodge. I'm 2 for 2 in these live stream games, so I want to make it 3 for 3. Go for the trifecta here. We're playing 5-10-10, but essentially, you'll know by the end of this video, it's pretty much a 25-50, if not 50-100. It's 2,000 to start. I'm in for the max, and then it becomes match the stack. First hand of the night, I look down at the ladies, and I raise it up to $200 over the $50 straddle. Hart is going to put in the call, and Yaya calls as well with his pocket eights. We're going 3 ways to the flop, which gives me a gutter to the straight on a King-Jack 9 rainbow board. The action checks over to me, and a lot of hands could check raise me on this board. They could have 9s, they could have King-Jack, Jack-9. They could also have a hand like 9-10 for a gutter to the straight, maybe suited. And yeah, I decide to check back here. There is an overcard as well. A lot of things to be concerned about. And the 4 of spades peels off on the turn. Hart checks it over to Yaya, who checks it over to me for a second time. And now I think I should go for some value. There's 625 in the middle, and I bet out for half pot. Yaya doesn't have much here to continue with, but you can see the gears in his head are already turning. He might do something tricky in the future, but as for now, he's going to leave his pocket eights in the muck. We're going to take down the first hand of the night. Hopefully that is a sign of some good things to come in this one. Cinnabon opens it up to 150 here with pocket jacks. Got Mosquito, Hart, and myself all putting in the call. We are going off to the flop, which gives me top pair, ace jack 5. Oh no, Cinnabon has 92% to win this one here. Why? Because he flopped himself a set of jacks. Oh boy, action's on Cinnabon, and he bets out for 150 into the field. Mosquito puts in the call, Hart gets out of the way, and I'm going to put in the call here with my pair of aces, leading us off to the turn, which comes the 3 of spades, and I check it in flow once again. It's 1,000 in the middle. There are some draws. The Hart draw. Cinnabon could have a hand like Queen 10, King Queen. If you think that's a little bit too loose, you got to go back and watch some of the other streams, because Cinnabon, definitely one of the more fun players on this table. He decides to continue betting here for $600. Mosquito gets out of the way, and the action's back over to me. Against Cinnabon's entire range here, I should put in the call. That's what I decide to do. I toss it into the middle, and we are off to the river, which comes a brick, the 7 of spades. I say it's a brick because all of those hands I mentioned that he would be bluffing with on the flop and turn do not get there. The hearts brick off, all the straight draws brick off. He could even have a hand like Queen Jack or King Jack, and I'd be ahead of those. I check it over to him, and I hope he checks behind, but if he bets large, it's going to be a polarizing bet, either meaning a set of aces or jacks, or nothing, and there's a lot more nothing than sets, and so when he bets out for $2,000, it's not a snap fold for me.
Hearts did brick off. In theory, it would not have been crazy for Cinnabon to just rip it in, but nevertheless, still putting Wolfgang in the blender.
I'm thinking about my options here. You can see, obviously, it looks like an easy fold. I have a pair of aces. He has a set of jacks. He has a lot of bluffs in this spot, and when you think someone has a lot of bluffs, you got to put the money in sometimes, so unfortunately for me, I decided to take a stand here and toss in 2K.
There's the call. Cinnabon getting paid with his set.
He shows me a set of jacks, which is one of the hands I was hoping not to see. Would have loved to have heard the words, nice call. Instead, though, he is taking down that $6,300 pot straight out of the gate. We're 1 for 1, although we are down heaps already. I'm going to top back up and match the stack here in this one. Right, next hand, Rory raises it up with ace-jack offsuit from the small blind. I find myself in the straddle. I decide to call for an additional $100. Just like that, we're going off to a flop, which gives me a pair and a backdoor straight draw on a Queen 8-6 board, and Rory fires out for $100. Can't be going anywhere with bottom pair. Pretty good flop for me. I put in the call, and we see a turn card, which comes the 9 of clubs, giving me some more outs here in case he has a queen or an 8. Any 10, any 5, any 6, or a 7 would have me beating those hands. And Rory does not slow down here into the $550 pot. He grabs some black chips, tosses them into the middle. It's a nearly pot-sized bet of $500. I was considering raising in this spot, but what threw me off was how large that he went for a bet. If he went a little bit smaller, I might have considered raising here for protection, some value, maybe getting a few other better hands to fold, like an 8 or a 9. Instead, though, when he bets large, I just put in the call, leading us to the river, which gives me a straight. It comes the 10 of spades. But hold on, why does Rory have the check mark? He's not verified on Instagram, that's for sure. He has a better straight all the way up to the queen. And oh boy, this is a gross spot as well. $1,500 in the middle. And Rory is going to polarize here and bet out for over $2,000. It's a massive overbet here, $2,150 into the $1,500 pot. And I was telling myself I was going to call a bet here. Obviously, I'm not calling to make a straight and then fold. But when he bets so large, what does he really have in this spot? It's really hard to put him on exactly ace-jack or king-jack, considering he bet the flop and turn. Flop bet makes sense. I thought the turn he'd slow down with a hand like ace-jack. So yeah, it is a very gross spot. It's not an immediate fold. I have a straight. Maybe he's trying to blow me off a one-pair type of hand. Maybe he has two pair going for value. Pretty wet board here though. Clubs also brick off. He has a club in his hand. But as I'm thinking about all of these options, because it's just a tough spot, I have a straight and he can have a lot of weird things here. A lot of bluffs and a lot of good hands. Trying to make the right decision. Something happens here that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Hasn't happened to me in a while. Rory actually decides to call clock.
Go so big with the jaw.
Just the chance to turn 400 into 300K is just...
We've officially had a clock called on Wolfgang, the rare clock call on the Lodge live stream.
I mean, I'm fine with people calling clock on me. I probably used up around 60 to 70 seconds on this river decision, so it is fair enough time for him to do it. However, we're on a live stream and we're playing for thousands of dollars, so I don't really expect people to be doing this. In fact, I've played on a ton of live streams and I've never seen anyone call the clock. So kind of a weird move by Rory. Didn't really appreciate that in the moment. Wasn't really my favorite person to play with on the stream. Now I'm trying to think after he calls the clock if this is a move to get me to call. And you can see his hand. It might have been an angle. He has the jack of clubs. Might have been trying to tilt me into putting in money, considering I'm in a tough spot here, obviously. No one else on the table heard it, including the dealers, so being the good person that I am, I actually let the dealer know that Rory decided to call the clock on me. Obviously, I want to win this pot, put that money into my stack. However, I also have another incentive here, not to give a wiener like Rory, a clock caller, additional chips. So now we got another incentive to make the right decision here. At the end of the day, I decide that that clock call was kind of strange and muck my cards. But I say something interesting after the hand. I'm a little bit rattled, but what I say is true. If he wouldn't have called the clock, I might have decided to put the money in here, but that extra incentive there got me to fold. I announced to the table that I folded a straight, and no one believes that I made the right fold.
Rory does not get the maximum.
It was a good fold. Hold it straight. Still a good fold?
Yeah, I don't know about that now. Can't be folding straights against Rory.
You can that time.
But look at the hands here. Wolfgang coming up on top here. Not putting the additional 2150 in the middle is a huge win. And hopefully we can battle with Rory later and get some of those chips back. What a wiener.
I think if he didn't call the clock, I'd probably call.
I'm a year older, but still get people telling me how young I look. Your face is everything. It's the first thing people notice, and I can tell you firsthand that the stress of playing poker definitely doesn't help. The 100-degree summer days mixed with harsh air conditioning at the casino is a recipe for disaster. I partnered with Insanely Clean, a streetwear-inspired, science-backed skincare line just for men. I've been using their moisturizing mist and their day and night face wash for weeks now. The design of the cap on the face wash makes it super easy to use with no mess. A quick 30-second wash gets me feeling invigorated before a session, and then I throw the moisturizing mist in my bag to take along with my vlogging essentials to the casino. At the card room, whenever I need a wake me up, the mist comes in handy. No need to lather it on your hands and then run to the bathroom to wash up. Just a quick spritz will get you where you need to be, as well as getting you the attention of players and even the cocktail waitresses. No joke, the first time I used the mist at the table, I proceeded to have a 5-minute convo with a waitress about it. Do with that what you will, gentlemen. So yeah, if you're looking for a new face wash or moisturizer, definitely check out Insanely Clean. And if you're new to face care, do yourself a favor and use my link below for a discount off of your first order. Bang! Right, 5-4 of hearts here in the small blind, and I raise it up to $850 over a $200 straddle from Rory. Just like that, we're gonna battle with him once again. This time we are out of position. He puts in the call off to a flop in a $1,900 pot, which gives me a bottom pair on an ace-10-5 board with 2 clubs. I'm out of position and decide to go for a half pot size bet. Pretty good board to bet my range on. And Rory quickly has to fold his queen 9 offsuit. And you know what? You lost this hand, buddy. Rory, ship those chips over to me. Let's go, Papa.
Now, Big Daddy
times.
How do you do
Chaz
it,
Not even
Chaz?
this
running
hard.
close to Cinnabon
do
up
it,
9,000.
How do you
Yaya
call
now
with
stuck
3
a full
outs and just bank it
5K.
on the rim?
Right, we got some added distraction here in this one. Yaya brought his dog. We got some dog action to my right. I decided to raise it up with 10-8 suited to $200. Let's see what happens in this one. It's an action table, and Mosquito Joe here going to 3-bet to $600 with Ace-King suited. Not going anywhere when I raise, and he 3-bets. I put in the call with 10-8 suited off to a flop, which is pretty dynamic. Ace-Jack-10 with 2 clubs. I have a pair, front door club draw. Mosquito Joe also has a pair and a front door straight draw, and he decides to continue betting into the $1,300 pot for $500. I think raising here would be a massive overplay. I really don't have pocket aces or pocket jacks when I decide not to 4-bet pre. King Queen is definitely in my range, so I could represent that on a 2-club board, but I think calling is by far the better play. I put in the call hoping to peel a 10-8 or a club, but that's not what we get with a brick, which comes the 3 of hearts. Mosquito Joe has around 3K in his stack. There's 2.3K in the middle. You can see he looks a little confused. What should he do? How much should he bet? Really hoping to not face an all-in bet so I can peel for a club on the river, but that's what he decides to do. He makes the best play in my opinion and rips it all in, putting me in a very tough spot. He has a good hand, but it's very vulnerable. But at the end of the day, this overbet is not giving me the best price to call. So I make a very disciplined fold here with my bottom pair and club draw.
Wolfgang lets it go. Holding quite a lot of equity there, but it was correct.
And yeah, we're losing this one here, but I think calling here would have been a bad play. Unfortunately, we could not rabbit hunt and see what would have transpired, but not calling here, definitely the best play in the long run. All right, fun hand here. I pick up pocket jiggities in the house of Brad Owen here at the lodge. And yeah, we are going to come in for a 3-bet. Mosquito raises it up to 150. I decide to 3-bet him to 500. And that clears a lot of the other opponents out of the way, including Mosquito, who folds. So yeah, taking down a small one there, pocket jacks. Leading us right into this next one, which is a juicy one. We are playing the nit game for $100 a pop. Rory raises it up to 150 from the hijack. Yaya cold calls the button with Jack 9 off. I find myself in the small blind with Ace Jack suited, and I decide to come in for a 3-bet, and I make it $850. Want to go large here because there's a flat on the button. Probably could size up as well if you wanted to go around $1,000, so wouldn't blame you. Rory decides to put in the call here for 700 more. And look at this, we are going to battle with our nemesis once again. Wolfgang and Rory, I don't get into too much drama, and although it's not the biggest deal in the world, that clock call just still in my head. Not really loving it from him here, so I definitely want to double through Rory here. That would be the dream situation. We're heads up out of position to a flop, which comes 7-6-4 with 2 hearts. Not exactly the best board for my range. I'm going to have a lot of overpairs, but at the same time, I'm going to have a lot of ace-king, king-queen. I'm going to have some 10-9 suited, jack-10 suited. So a lot of stuff that just completely bricks on this board. Rory raised from the hijack and then called a 3-bet. He could easily have a hand like pocket 4s, 6s, or 7s. I check it over to him. Interested to see what he does here. If he checks behind on this flop, I'm kind of eliminating all of those sets, given the fact there is a flush draw out there. And he does. He checks behind, bringing in the 4 of spades on the turn, making it a little bit harder for him to have pocket 4s, and the action's on me. Now, I think here it's a pretty good spot to go for a bet. If I had a hand like pocket 10s, I might check this flop and then bet the turn. So ace-jack suited, probably going to want to bet this at some frequency as well. Still, checking isn't a terrible option. I have nothing on this board, no backdoor draws, and I'm drawing to 6 outs, 3 aces, and 3 jacks. I check it over to Rory once again, and he snap checks behind on the turn, bringing in a dynamic card, the 8 of hearts on the river. Any 5 now has a straight. Any 2 hearts have a flush, and this could have brought in some pair of 8s for Rory as well. Kind of a weird spot. I want to get to showdown with my ace high. I'm still beating a lot of hands like jack 10 suited, king jack suited, all that good stuff. And I check it over to him once again. Really want him to check behind, and I could turn over the best hand, get rid of the nip button, and take down a 2K pot. But when I check it over to Rory, he decides to go for a nasty overbet once again, 2K in the middle, and he goes for a bet of $3,000.
Huge bet against Wolfgang. Overbets the pot. Has not put a chip in yet.
I don't want to call you this time. Made a good fold last time with my straight.
What is he representing on this river? Well, if he's balanced here, he's going to have a lot of flushes. He's also going to have a lot of hands such as King Jack suited, King Queen suited, Jack Queen suited, all that good stuff. He could have some busted spade draws. I think it's unlikely he's going to have played pocket sixes or sevens in this way. All in all, I think there's a lot more bluffs than value in this spot. At least that's just my opinion. I'll leave it to Rory if he wants to comment down below whether or not he's completely balanced in this spot. But it's an overbet, so it's polarizing. He either has a very good hand or nothing. You can see he does in fact have nothing. So by that logic, I should put in the call. However, I don't have the luxury of seeing his cards, so I'm in a gross spot here. I really want to put in the call here and win this one. You can see I'm holding those $5 trips as if I want to put the money in the middle. Let me know down below before you see what I do in this spot if you'd put in the call here or if you'd fold your ace high. If I put in the call here, this would be the largest pot that I've ever won with ace high, making a correct call on the river. It would be around $8,000, and $8,000 is a lot of money. So although you can't think about the money when you're playing, still, calling $3,000 here with ace high is pretty hairy. I do take a while here, and I'm expecting clock caller Rory to call it once again. So interesting to note that last time he called the clock when he had a good hand, this time he's letting it go on. I should have picked up on this and noticed that he wanted me to fold in this spot. Unfortunately, you guys, I couldn't pull the trigger here, and I muck my cards. Rory got one through on us there. This would have been a sick call and would have shifted it 2-1 in the favor of me, but instead he's taking this one down here with the bluff, and of course, because it's a nit game, he gets to turn it over right away. Yeah, this one stuck in my head for a few orbits afterwards. Man, I hope we can play another one with him and I can get on the right side of it. All right, moving into the best hand of the night. We're playing the nit game once again, and unfortunately, I do, in fact, have my nit button still, so I don't want to lose that and pay out $700 to the table. There is a raise, a 3-bet to me, and I look down from the dealer button.
Aces for Wolfgang now. Facing a 3-bet from Yaya.
Love that the nit game is on because it gives me a little bit more can he be playing worse hands kind of vibe. Not necessarily always going to have pocket aces in a 4-bet nit game, although if the nit game was off, 4-bet here is going to be very, very strong.
You threw. Watch when it gets to him, he's going to yam it.
Oh, wow. 2 jacks for JL. He is all in now.
He decides to rip it all in for $6,500. Music to our ears. It's a 5-bet, so he obviously has queens, kings, or aces, and we be chopping. The action folds back around to me. I check my cards. Snap call. Not going to slow roll him here. We're off to a flop. We're going to run it twice. Hoping I can hold because at this point I'm down around $7,000. First board comes pretty clean for us. Queen, 9, 6. Turn comes a 6, followed by another 6, giving us a boat. Gonna take that one down, and I toss in my nit button because the first board always counts towards the nit game. So no matter what, I have won this nit game, but now I want to scoop this entire pot. Second board comes pretty clean for us as well on the flop on a king 5-3 with 2 clubs. Turn comes a 5, pretty eerily similar to the top board. The river comes the ace of clubs, giving me a rivered boat. Let's go, taking down this 13.3K pot, the hand of the night by far, and getting us right back to where we need to be, 15K in our stack. Let's frickin' go. All right, we find ourselves in the straddle here. JL raises it up and Hart puts in the call. I look down at king 10 offsuit and decide to defend. We're going 3 ways to a flop, which comes queen, jack 4 with 2 hearts, and the action checks over to JL, who was the pre-flop raiser. He decides to go for a bet, and Hart puts in the call. I flop myself an open-ended straight draw. I'm going nowhere. Could be check raising, although JL could easily have queens, jacks, queen, jack, and would be never folding. So I decide just to put in the call, leading us off to the turn, which comes gin for us. Bang! The 9 of clubs, giving me the nut straight. Hart checks it over to me, and I think about it for around 10 to 15 seconds. Should I lead out in this spot? What would I do with my entire range here, with my flush draws, with my pair of jacks, with my king, queen? I think a lot of those would just continue to check over to JL. It is a little bit scary, though. What if he has pocket kings in the spot? Is he going to continue to bet, or would he check behind? I think he's going to be checking a large portion of the time as well. So betting in my spot can't be the worst play in the world. And sure enough, we get the bad news when JL checks behind, bringing in one of the worst cards in the deck, the King of Hearts. Brings in the front door heart draw, puts a 4-liner to the straight. Any 10 would have that. So now you can see we are chopping with heart and losing to JL. A very, very bad river. Unfortunate for us. And now Hart is just going to lead out into the field for $1,300. I am in a gross spot. There's 3 hearts out there, 4-liner to the straight. I'm never raising. Can I be folding in this spot? I don't know when JL checks behind on the turn. I think Hart could have a straight here. JL could have 2 pair or a set. So I think I got to put in the call here and chop with Hart a good portion of the time. That's what I decided to do. And the longer JL thinks about it, the more I think he has 2 pair or a set, and is just deciding if he wants to donate $1,300. But after a large amount of thinking, JL puts in the call. I'm expecting to be chopping here with one of the 2 other opponents. Hart turns over the straight. I think I'm chopping with him until JL turns over the nut straight. Ace 10 suited. He is taking down that $6,400 pot. What a turn. What a river. That's a disaster. We are losing that 6.4K pot.
Oh, okay. Probably the way I'm running right now.
All right, nothing we can do after losing a pot like that other than buckling down, picking up a good hand, and coming in for a 3-bet. Yaya raises 6-7 suited to 250 from the big blind. I'm in the straddle and decide to 3-bet him to 750 with pocket 10s. This is the last hand of the night. You can see Cinnabon's already racking up. But hold on, I have something to say about that. I want to get some money back in this one. I come in for the 3-bet. Yaya puts in the call. We are going off to the flop in a pretty good spot here. Going to win this 4 out of every 5 times. On a board that comes this good for my range, it's probably a surefire thing. We're going to c-bet this and take it down. Ace, Jack, Queen, Rainbow. Yaya checks it over to me. 1,600 in the middle, and I like a sizing of 500 to 750. I decided to go on the larger side for 750, and Yaya, gears are turning. You can see the first hand of the night, he was thinking about doing something sneaky. Here, he's just not putting me on too much, I guess, and thinking about going for a check raise. But luckily for me, better thoughts prevail. He mucks his cards. I turn over my pocket 10s, showing him that a check raise probably would have worked. And with that last hand in the book, we rack up our chips and head over to the cage. Let's bring it to the outro. All right, you guys, wrapping up the session here from the lodge. You can see it's still on a delay right behind me, which is pretty cool. It was advertised as a 5-10-10, I believe. Instead, it played like a 25-50 the whole day. So we got in for $15,000, out for a loss of 2070. Ended up coming back.
Call Joshua L for 1 student limit. Thank you.
Ended up coming back. We were stuck around
TJ
seven.
for 1 student limit.
Ended up coming back. We were stuck around $7,000 at our worst. We made a call against Cinnabon that I think I like in the long run, but I'll have to see what you guys say in the comments. And then another spot we could have called with the Ace Jack high against King Jack. I think that was Rory who had that. Unfortunately, I couldn't pull the trigger on that one, but pretty stoked that I folded the straight versus straight against him. I wasn't going to pay that wiener off, but yeah, we lost 2070, so definitely not the best day of my life of poker, but still, when you're down 7K and then make back $5,000 of it, it's almost like you're making $5,000. Okay, I'm fishing for something here, but let me know what you thought of my play down below. I'm definitely trying to find some cool spots to do stuff in. That ace high would have been an amazing call, and definitely something that I'm capable of doing in the future. So every time it happens to me where I'm wrong, I'm going to take note of that in the future and try to make it happen in the next one. Tomorrow I am flying to Michigan, which means a video is coming up from Soaring Eagle if they allowed me to film, aka if I got away with filming, because I can't ask for permission in an Indian casino, but that'll be the next one. And then I think I'm going to play at least once or twice in Chicago, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you're new. Go check all the links down below for online poker and for all my training courses that I have discount codes for. But as for now, good luck on the felt, you guys. Out of Austin, driving back to Dallas. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
Is that Wolfgang Poker?